Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Midnight Strike Through Mormons live stream. I'm your host, Cardinal, and today I'm joined in the studio by none other than Brittany the Shadow. And we've got a really fun live stream today. In fact, I thought about titling it a fun stream, but we've already done that before, so you can't do it twice. Anyway, before we get started, Brittany, how's it going? How was your week? The adoring audience awaits hearing from you.
This week is crazy for me.
Too much has been happening all at once. Yes. What's been the craziest?
Well, in my life or in the world?
In your life and then the world. Top two.
Okay. In my life. My daughter has dance team auditions this week.
Okay.
So I'm at the dance studio a lot, working with her. Sounds like it'd be simple. It's a lot. I'm there a lot. On top of working.
Okay, so we got a couple of questions from some members of the chat here. First off, of course, Rex Good, your boy. He's happy to see you. You know what I'm saying? So is Diamond Dave. And a couple of people here wanted to know if you have been to the Preakness. You expressed an interest in horseback riding. Not horseback riding. What's it called?
The Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, it's horse racing. That was the word I was looking for. Yes, yeah. Horse racing. So we have yet to go, but I think that might be...
I've never been to a horse race. Never. But I want to.
Yeah, I know. We got to get that going. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to throw this up here on the screen. Thanks to everybody who responded via the Twitter machine to what do you guys want to talk about today? And we got some really good answers here. Let's just see. A couple people, of course, made the joke, myself, you know what I'm saying? But interesting, a guy named Alan Corbin says, Gentile here, which soda shack does the crew of Midnight Mormons support? Well, I don't know. Babe, do you have a preferred soda shack? We'll just start it off light.
So we don't have that down here. That's like a Utah thing.
It is.
But I've been to Sodalicious. I've been to Thirst. But I'm just kind of like a soda purist. I know people love to put like the coconut cream and I just give me my diet cherry Pepsi and I'm happy. Like I don't need extra creams. I don't need a mix. I'm a purist. So the soda shacks, I don't know. I mean,
it's just not your thing.
As long as you have good Pebble Ice, I'll drink a soda anywhere.
Okay. Well, also, how about this question? Aaron Moody wanted to ask, could you guys talk about how you are obvious hacks? Says Aaron Moody 36869.
Hack of what?
Just hacks. We're for those. Well, we're that's a conjunction. Okay, we're hacks, meaning we're shilling for those people that pay us. The church. It's still an ongoing anti-Mormon trope that we are funded by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I promise you all right now, we are not funded by the church.
Yeah, and Robert Boylan jumps in saying that he's reading some Origin at the moment, which is very interesting because, we always go down these rabbit holes before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, right? But what's really interesting is Origin is one of the first church fathers. I believe he existed, correct me if I'm wrong, Robert Boylan. I think he lived in the 2nd century AD. I have yet to convert to CE, nor will I, because that's just secular nonsense. But anyway, I believe he was in 2nd century AD, and he was the first founding father that said, hey, we don't know where Jesus Christ was baptized. These translations of Bethany beyond Jordan are actually just convenient transliterations that don't actually represent where he was baptized. And archaeological researcher Jim Gee actually believes he knows the spot where he was baptized in a place called Bethabara, which is consistent with what Lehi said in the Book of Mormon, that now is actually in a militarized zone between Palestine and Israel that the Stick of Joseph guys actually had a chance to go see. That would be pretty revolutionary if they're able to get a hold of it. So anyway, it's really interesting when you start getting down into the early Christians, because the early Christians actually, I think, share more in common with current members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints than 17th, 18th, and 19th century American Protestants do. People sometimes think that we're an outcropping of our environment here in North America from the mid-19th century to the modern day, when in reality we have a lot more to do and a lot more We're a lot more like OG Catholics, shall we say, and OG Christian converts in the first to third centuries. So anyway, yeah, great. I'm just finishing here, letting everybody come on into the chat, letting everybody just say hi, see what's up, and we'll get going. The first thing a lot of people want to talk about, that we just got to, because this is our channel and it's fun and we got the vibe. But babe, do you think
aliens? Are we talking about aliens right off the bat?
Yeah, we're talking about aliens right off the bat. We'll get to how we're winning. We're winning in Pride Month. All right, just we'll be talking about the Target boycotts. We'll be talking about Starbucks. We'll be talking about all that other stuff. All of that. But you got to make room. You got to make room for aliens. So, babe, you got to tell me, these aliens, the Las Vegas aliens.
Yeah.
I actually had the owner of Supernatural University say now we actually have to add a chapter to our textbook because of this Las Vegas incident, because it's high enough profile. So you are watching supernatural history get made in real time.
Feels good.
Yeah. What a time to live in, right? Do you remember where you were when you heard Michael Jackson died?
No.
Do you remember where you were when you heard the aliens landed in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that we are living history. This is our JFK moment. So, okay, so maybe not so much, but we do, just to catch everybody up here. Okay. We do got to, we're now we're going to pause for copyright on occasion. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're going to play a little bit here.
Is this the 911 call?
This is everything.
Okay.
I believe this is the original station that broke the story, and they've kind of made, this isn't the original story. I think this is their follow-up. So let's just see what they have to say. They're live, they're local, and they're now.
Southern Nevada is abuzz tonight with stories about the crash of an unknown object and the alleged sighting of strange creatures in the backyard of a Northwest Valley home.
Okay, now, by the way, I have to point this out because it's too funny to point out, okay? But
I don't think that's a real spaceship. I'm just going to say it.
You're saying you don't think that's a real spaceship?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's like a cartoon
Okay,
one.
I'm going to move this over so the audience can see it a little bit better, okay? But I'm going to go back and I'm going to play this again, okay? But you've got two people here, two talking heads, right? And watch how he starts to look at her missionary companion style, right before he finishes his sentence. This is exactly what missionaries do. Watch.
Backyard of a Northwest Valley home.
So it was
okay. Just see, he was like, Northwest Valley home. He might as well have just said, Stacy, your turn. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I thought that one was pretty funny. So anyway, let's keep seeing.
I didn't realize that until you just pointed. That was dramatic head turn.
Oh yeah, it's pretty funny. I see the Stick of Joseph guys doing it on their YouTube channel too sometimes. You'll see them, they're caught in missionary mode because they're used to doing dual presentations with different people. And so yeah, you caught him. You caught him just doing the whole little missionary head tilt. All right. So
maybe they're the aliens.
Yeah. Hey, there's entire theories there. But anyway, here we go.
Last night, that 8 News Now investigator David Charnes reported about how Metro Police responded back on May 1st after receiving a strange call from a very frightened family. Well, our report generated a global response. And
yeah, you better believe it, baby. Aliens. And Vegas, man, they are just the epicenter. For those of you who are not in the UFO know, okay, Bob Lazar was a Vegas guy. Vegas is probably the closest metropolis to OG Area 51. And now they got straight up cop cameras recording things falling out of the sky. Man, you better be good with God if you're living in Vegas, man, because there's little green men floating around,
Who founded Vegas?
Oh, good
saying.
point. Good point,
Just saying.
babe. Good point. Okay, so let me keep going here.
now piecing together the sequence of events has been kind of tricky, in part because the primary witnesses have been almost as elusive as the beings they say they encountered. Chief Investigator George Knapp is as perplexed as the rest of us.
He's an alien.
Yeah, now this guy, dude, this guy is a seasoned veteran, and I'm just going to put this right up here right now. Does he or does he not look exactly like Columbo?
I don't know who that is, but
Wait, you don't know who Columbo is?
no.
Oh, Columbo? Ah, come on. You don't know who Columbo is?
No.
Okay, watch here. You know, I hate doing this kind of stuff in real time, but now we just got to do it in real time. Okay. We're going to pull up a new tab here, and we're going to look up Columbo Detective. It was a TV show, and the guy always had like this like disgruntled look on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, as he was like analyzing information and stuff like that. So here, right now, you have got a picture of Columbo. Now, he's a little bit older in this pic, so we won't hold it against him, okay? We're going to open this image in a new tab right here just for us. And here you have officially Columbo, okay? Oh, man, they got a picture of him looking a little bit cross-eyed, all right? But this is what Columbo looked like. You know, he was a handsome guy with gray hair and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the browser, all right? And you can't tell me that Homeboy doesn't kind of look... Even if it's just a little bit, you can't tell me that Homeboy doesn't kind of look like Columbo. He looks like Columbo, right?
I could see it. You know who I thought he looked
You
like?
know, there's Columbo. There's Columbo. You know? Okay, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, maybe it's rude. I'm not meaning to be rude. It's just the first thing that popped in my head. The little alien inside that man in Men in Black. You know, like the little one when he.
Oh my goodness! It's been too long. It's been too long. Okay, that's what you thought, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
but maybe
cool.
Columbo's a better.
Maybe Columbo's a little bit more charitable.
Maybe it's more accurate.
Is what you're
know.
saying? Okay, it might be just a little bit more charitable. Okay, well let's see. Let's finish what Columbo here has to say.
Okay.
As you know, this is not our first UFO rodeo. We first heard about the incident in early May via the Metro Police grapevine. The incident has a lot in common with other bizarre cases from around the world. An alleged crash, strange beings, and bits and pieces that don't...
An alleged crash? I don't know. I saw that thing falling out of the sky. You know, I don't know if I call that alleged. I don't see how
Did
you...
you see the shadows of the people?
No, there's shadows? Like Brittany the Shadow?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're copycats.
Well,
No, they're in the tractor. I put it in the Discord.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to pull
We'll
up.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So here we go.
Makes sense. But the police took this seriously, and so do we. Just before midnight on April 30th, skywatchers across several western states saw a bright fireball streak through the heavens. A police
Look at that right there. We got to go back and watch that one again.
state saw a bright fireball streak through the heavens.
I mean, dude, that's pretty cool looking, man. Like, you don't make that cheese up right there. Not next to a naval zone, you don't.
Across several western states saw a bright fireball streak through the heavens. A police officer working in the Northwest Valley caught a glimpse of the colorful object on his body cam. At nearly the same time, a Ring camera in the area recorded a strange noise and what sounds like a crash. One family living in a ranch-style home had a much closer view of the object. Two brothers and their father were working on a vehicle in their yard.
Now, I haven't been able to figure this. To me, I think is CGI. It looks pretty CGI-ish. So yeah, some people said, was this a drone? I think it's CGI, but I'd have to look a little bit closer. But I'm getting some Call of Duty vibes here.
When they caught a glimpse of a sparkly object as it came crashing down, then were hit by what they describe as a shockwave.
Okay, cool. So you say that you saw some of these shadows.
Mm-hmm. Well, allegedly. I mean, it's not totally clear.
Okay, so we're going to get to the fun meat and potatoes of this all right here, because the 911 call is pretty cool.
One of the witnesses, a young man named Angel, has stated when the brothers looked into the yard where the object landed, that spot was obscured and blurry, as if by unknown form of camouflage. What they saw next prompted a frantic call to 911.
Okay, yeah, this is the 911 call.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
Okay, dude, you gotta have guts to do that nowadays. Like, I don't know. I'm a little bit dubious that this is just a hoax, because people always want to say it's just a hoax. And I love a solid hoax, man. You know, I may or may not have met some street artists in Los Angeles known as The Faction, who do really fun, cool pranks under cover of anonymity, okay? You can go check them up. You look up the Faction 1776 on Instagram. These cats are pretty gangster, and they go around Los Angeles doing all kinds of really cool, wild stuff. In fact, actually, just so that the audience knows exactly who I'm talking about, I'm actually going to pull it up just so you guys can see it yourselves. But these guys are like OG street artists that just pull off some public art projects that just, I mean, they got guts, right? So as you can see right here, these cats will go and they will, actually, I'm pulling it up so the rest of the audience can see right now. These guys will go and they'll perform, like, they call them hits, but these are street art, okay, that is conservative in its bent. Therefore, it kind of inflames a lot of people that are in a much more liberal city and so on and so forth. But these guys are like super funny, and they go around town and they do everything that the left does to the right, but artistically, and the left isn't used to it. So they kind of get people angry. But I'm going to show you one more that was like my personal favorite that was pretty funny. In my home district, they actually put up this this poster. Was pretty hilarious. But the best was, I got to get it right now. I didn't know I was going to talk about them today, but I'm cruising down. The best one that they ever did right here. This one was genius. They figured out, because Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame kept on getting defaced so badly, they figured out how to make a sticker that looked exactly like his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then what they did was they went down to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, okay, and they put that sticker on a bunch of other people's stars so you couldn't tell which one was Donald Trump and which one was Jimmy Kimmel, which one was all the other late night hosts. You couldn't figure out who Kevin Spacey was. You couldn't figure out any of this. They put Donald Trump's sticker on all of them, and it was hilarious because people were trying to deface Donald Trump's sticker, but because but his star, but because they didn't know exactly which one was his, they weren't able to get to it. And I mean, this was some royally hilarious stuff that put these guys on the map pretty hardcore.
Yeah, they just dress as like road workers, and no one knew what they were doing. Like, no one like stops them. They don't know who they are, and they're just
like, look at that though.
Doing it.
That's Kevin Spacey's star. So they clean it up, and then they put Donald Trump on it. And now if you're actually going to, if you're going to go deface, look at that. The cops are coming up, and they're asking, like, what are you guys doing? And they're just like, oh, we're just keeping it clean here, That has guts. That is gutsy to pull that off. Because if if the liberal mayor catches you, that you're getting jail time for some kind of trumped up vandalism charges or something like that. So anyway, as much as I'm a guy that totally respects and admires the OG gangsters of pranking here, I don't think that this is a prank. I don't think that you can, I don't see how you would make it so that this footage is faked. And I don't know, whenever you call 911, I mean, your name is in that record, your phone number is in that record, like, man. Now, the newscasters did say, hey, these people are elusive, but yeah, I'd be elusive too. If I just went through that and it was real, or if it was a prank, I'd be trying to make sure that nobody found out, right? But anyway, let's keep going.
Big eyes, they have big eyes, like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
8 News Now investigators have spoken with family members multiple times in the past 4 weeks, but each of the 3 times we accepted their invitation to do an interview, they didn't answer the door or their phone.
Which, that's...
I don't know if I would want to talk to them either, though. I'd be like, look, if I talk about it, they're going to come after me. No.
Like, yeah, it's kind of freaky, because by that time, if everything you say about the X-Files and stuff like that is true, by that time, the real government authorities actually have come to talk to you.
That was a great show. I loved the X-Files.
You were an X-Files stan.
Yeah, it used to give me nightmares. But
I was going to say, I was mortified as a child. How'd you sleep?
I would watch it with my dad, like late at night, And then, sometimes I'd sleep with my parents because I was scared, but I also couldn't stop watching. So.
Wow, you are a little bit macabre.
I am.
You know.
Yeah.
You do like the.
I watch Scream to like unwind after the day. You know.
You're like a real life Wednesday Addams, just hotter.
A little bit.
You know. Okay. Cool.
Bit,
awesome. All right. Well, let's see what else they had to say.
These are some of the claims they've made in other public forums. Multiple family members backed up the story in an initial police report we obtained. Angel says they heard the patter of multiple feet in the yard.
Hey, man, as a guy that traps wildlife, you know, that's just something that instinctually you recognize, is whether it's multiple animals or single. Let's see.
They later heard footsteps on their roof. They saw one of the 8-foot-tall creatures climb behind the controls of a large front loader stored in the yard as if trying to engage it.
Okay, now you're the one, babe, that said you saw other...
Yeah.
Okay, so did you put that in the Discord?
I did.
Okay. Before we go any further, we got to recognize the super chat. Thank you very much. Rex Good says, had close encounter, bright light from impossible source, missing time. Get out of town.
That's cool.
Rex Good, you got to put more in the chat and tell us what's going on. I don't care if you max out that little chat right there with the telephone pole. You got to tell us what's going on. You know what's kind of crazy is I have a friend whose dad was a trucker. Okay, and he is the most rough and tumble crazy dude that you know. I can't tell you what the sport is, but I can tell you that it's one of the most hyper masculine sports known to man. And this guy was the Golden Award recipient of.
So we're talking
that.
golf.
No, masculine. And I did say sports. I didn't say masculine leisure activities.
Okay.
I said sports.
Curling.
So, yeah, for real. But anyway, he was the 60 and over Gold Award recipient winner of that one. I'm not going to out this cat because, you know, the story that he told me was, you know, was kind of personal, you know. So anyway, but he did, I did hear that he said, you know, he didn't really know what to think when he read the Book of Mormon. His family had gotten interested in the church, stuff like that. And so he said, he basically like not challenged God from a point of arrogance, but basically said like, okay, I'm doing the Moroni's promise now. And like, this is a one-time shot basically, you know. And he said when he went back to his truck after having prayed, because he was a long haul trucker to pay the bills in between competitions of this hyper masculine sport. And he said there was an impossible light source from inside of the, there's an impossible light source from inside of the truck that just made everything illuminate like crazy and made the whole entire vehicle glow, and just something similar, like almost as though time were missing. Like he didn't know how long it took for him to be experiencing that experience. So Rex Good, yeah, we want to know a little bit more, my man. Because that would be consistent with some other stories we have. Anyway, sat up, a scout saw it too. I was frozen, woke up later and didn't remember laying back down. Wow. I was camping as a scoutmaster in a tent with a dad, bright light from up on a mountain behind the tent.
Ooh.
Get out of town.
Ooh, you were hijacked.
Dude, I saw fire in the sky in the 90s and I was mortified. I haven't had
anything cool happen.
You know, I have a Super 8 copy of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I have yet to see it. Actually, I've yet to see the real movie or I've seen the Super 8 version, but it's only like a 14-minute clip. So anyway, I guess I got to watch that.
Dude, I want to watch X-Files now. That's all I can think about right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, here we go. We keep going because this is the part where he says the alien got into the tractor trailer.
Got a good look at one of the creatures, he said, a greenish-grayish being with large eyes and long legs. He says he could hear its deep breaths, and when he locked eyes, he was, in essence, frozen in place, couldn't move. In the middle of the yard, where the object had crashed, then vanished, a circular impression was left in the soil.
Which does strangely look like the CBS icon. You know, that's...
Oh, stop. It's aliens.
No, it looks like the CBS icon. Either it was aliens or else the Columbia Broadcasting System is doing some marketing here. But, okay, let's keep going.
Okay, where is this on your property?
Metro sources say the police dispatcher initially wondered whether to send a crisis intervention team to help the troubled witness, but
Oh, that's just arrogant and somebody who doesn't believe in aliens.
then took the incident seriously. 2 officers arrived 38 minutes after the call, and by then had heard from other officers. They proceeded cautiously and managed some nervous laughs.
Okay, man. Now, this, I give credit to the cop.
A few days later, the family says 2 Metro sergeants returned to the scene to ask follow-up questions. The family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house.
Yeah, see, that's why these people aren't found. That's why nobody's talking to them. Because you got even if they were hoaxers, now you got the counter hoaxers doing their, like, I mean, I saw not Get Out.
I don't
What
know.
was it? Nope.
Government officials never are seen. I don't know.
Yeah, the G-men, the dark and scary G-men. Okay, cool. Let's
Yeah.
keep going. What do you mean they're never seen? Like, we see them all the time as they attempt to try and
But
look like
with
they're normal
their
guys.
sunglasses, like the way they described it just makes it seem like that part's fake.
Yeah, like what was that group that they tried to make up, like Patriot Front or something, where they tried to have like a rally with a bunch of guys that literally look like bureaucrats in the DMV. And then there was that big group that they had to protect that was trying to infiltrate. They found out it was all FBI informants and FBI assets and people that had done this is what, like 6 months ago, had supposedly hatched the plot to capture and kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. You know what I'm saying? The governor of Michigan. And then they found out, oh yeah, wait, this is a big FBI plot. So I mean, look, you could say, oh, you never see the good governmental G-men. It's the bad ones trying to pull off their own wannabe hoaxes that always get caught, like the Steele dossier and all that garbage. So anyway, here we go. Let's finish this up.
In the following days, Nellis and Creech have denied any interest or involvement with the incident. Metro has indicated they believe the family that something
Now, before we go anywhere, you guys missed that. I'm going to have to reframe this. But you are about to see one of the best cop stashes in the whole entire production right here.
or involvement with the incident.
Boom, look at this guy right here.
Yeah.
That's a cop
Metro has
stash.
indicated.
Boom. That's like Chips, 1979. I'm digging. All right, here we go.
They believe the family that something crashed in their yard. But what?
You mentioned, George, in that piece that they were frozen because so many people have been critical of, like, why didn't they get their phone out? Why didn't they shoot the video?
Yeah, exactly. But Columbo's going to tell us why.
Do we know if there's even any video of this incident?
Yes and no. So there's a surveillance camera in the backyard. The property owner keeps that because he's got a lot of expensive equipment there. What we were told is that at the moment this thing comes down and crashed, this camera went out, and it was out for a couple of minutes. When it came back on, the object was gone, but the circle was there. We've been told by Angel in multiple phone conversations that he shot video of the creatures. We haven't seen it. We don't know anybody else who's seen it yet, so maybe he'll release it at some point.
All right, man. That video will be worth a ton.
Okay, so go to the Discord.
Go to the Discord right now. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ask and ye shall receive. Command and I shall obey. All right?
I just feel like I have to be like forceful on here.
You just have to be forceful and
Usually
make
I
it
have
remember.
other
All right?
men that are clamoring for speaking time.
Okay, so this is
Yeah, it's that guy right there. Yeah.
Andres Ortiz. Okay, we're gonna check it out. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, this is where he shows you the shadowy figure.
All right, so at the beginning.
Okay, so let me go pull this up right now. So
And like just the music, like
you know what's going
you
down. Okay, let's see here.
They're talking about the lady seeing something or asking if it's in the tractor or the forklift. I believe it's inside the tractor. You can see 2 dark shadows with glowy eyes. I'm gonna put it in black and white. Maybe that will help a little bit. Give me 1 second. Right there. You can see right in the center. You can see 2 dark shadows sitting. This one is gonna blink in a second. You'll see it right there. He blinked. They're both sitting there. They move, but ever so slightly.
What do you think?
You know, the internet does some amazing things, all right? So this is either all of us over-analyzing some kind of hoax that will slowly be proven to be such, or it's like when the internet solved that murder about the model that killed the cats in Canada.
What?
Oh, yeah, there was like some up-and-coming like wannabe male model who ended up being a murderer who would kill cats by putting them in vacuform bags. And he'd do it like on a live stream, but then ultimately ended up killing another person. And it was an unsolved mystery, and the internet like went nuts on this and actually figured out who it was. And there's a documentary on Netflix called like "Don't Mess with Cats" or something like that.
That's what that is?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen that title.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story. So anyway, either this is the internet pulling a "Don't Mess with Cats" and solving an awesome mystery, just like the internet has solved lots of mysteries. We've solved some really cold cases. Like, for example, they just solved a year ago the first serial killer. Come on, Miss Macabre. Who was the first serial killer?
Talking about the...
Not Psycho. That's actually not a good... It's Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper was the first serial killer. So they just solved that.
That we know of.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Actually, the biggest serial killers in history that have killed like into the 3 digits have all been South American, actually. It's pretty crazy. They're not really in the zeitgeist of American cinema because we're really heavily Western European and North American. But the serial killers that have existed in Mexico, Central, and South America have gotten into, I think, if you look it up on Wikipedia, I think the top serial killer has over 250 victims that he claims to remember, like the names of. And there's a bunch others that he doesn't. So anyway, Rex, good. Thanks for the super chat. I'm going to catch up on some super chats here. Babe,
from murder victims to let's read the super chats.
Yeah, that was a great segue.
That was a good segue.
Are you the keeper of the super chats this
sure.
session? Okay, read us a super chat.
Okay, Jonah Barnes. How are LDS saints uniquely positioned in regards to aliens, or are we?
Well, first off, we're uniquely positioned in many ways, yes, because with the conceptualization of eternal progress, really an understanding, like it depends on what your definition of alien means. If you mean like the big-eyed little green men that Bob Lazar swore he saw specifically there, I'm not sure. But what else would we call an angel? You know, what else would we call a divinely perfected being? What would we call ourselves as we continue throughout time and space to progress? I think...
Well, we know there's other worlds with other beings.
I was going to say also, there's the scripture, you know, many worlds hath I created, and so on and so forth. So it makes you think, okay, well... these terms can be very loosely interpreted over time, but we definitely have far more wiggle room for belief in that which is to come when it does come than other faiths do, who have slowly, through their creeds, stripped away man's ability to believe in becoming or existing as anything other than somebody who just sings praises to God for the rest of eternity.
I think you're arrogant if you don't believe in aliens.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Why do you think you're so cool that you're the only thing in this universe? You're arrogant. There's other people, other aliens. They're true.
You know, there's some scriptural precedent for what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can you name it?
Nope.
The pop quiz? Nope. You're like, no, nope. I think it's the book of Moses. When he sees God and he has a great amplified vision of the eternities, he said something along the lines of, and then I saw that man was nothing, such thing I had never considered before. And so apparently upon seeing how many people really are in the earth's history and eternities and the grandeur of God and the size of the planets and the depth and profundity of it all, he said, I realized that man was nothing. And such thing I'd never considered before. So it must have been an ultimately humbling experience. So how are LDS saints uniquely positioned in regards to aliens, or are we? I think we are. I think we are uniquely positioned. And I think the way we're uniquely positioned is because we're open-minded. Everybody else is so closed-minded with their foolish arrogance that does not refute Scripture. It only fulfills it. For when they are learned, they think they are wise.
That's what I said. You're arrogant if you don't believe in aliens.
Oh, I as a husband, the only thing I can ever do is just reiterate the beauty and the knowledge that is Brittany the Shadow.
I know. You just say it in like so many words. I just like condense like.
Yes. I can only hope to ever reflect your beauty and expertise. Okay. So anyway, Kim Young, CA 10L says, how much is a $10 Canadian super chat worth? Well, you know what? It's coming across here as $10. And what's funny is usually all the others it's $9.99. So I don't know. Maybe if you're Canadian, they nick you for the extra cent or something like that. But on my end, Kim, it's coming across as 10. So I don't know if that's going to get adjusted later on by the YouTube algorithms and take their percentage. But thank you very much for the super chat. We're really glad to have you here with us, and so on and so forth. So anyway, here there was one other funny comment that I was going to see, and I can't remember. Yep, Scott brings up Moses chapter 1 as well, and clarifies that it's verses 29 to 39. So anyway, let's keep seeing if the little green men are in the truck.
Well, that's about it. That's all they say.
And they're just sitting.
By the way, is it just me, or who does this guy look like? Does this guy not look like Benicio del Toro?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Benicio del Toro is?
No.
He's the actor in Traffic. He was the actor in Snatch.
I haven't seen any of those.
Handsome Latino guy.
No. I only know Enrique Iglesias.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's very handsome.
Was he your Latin crush, like junior high or what?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Sick.
Oh, and then Antonio Banderas in Mask of Zorro.
Ooh, yeah. Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones in Mask of Zorro. That was her best and hottest role as well. So that's just a spicy Latino video right there.
Yeah.
Full of only one Latino because she's actually Welsh. It's really funny. I think that was like her first big screen debut. So a lot of people thought she was a Latina actress when in reality she's Welsh. It was pretty funny. So anyway, have we covered the aliens there? Are you?
I believe it.
You believe it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, chat. I want to know. Do you guys believe this? You know what I'm saying? Do you guys believe that this is the real deal? Because I think it's pretty hilarious. I'm open.
The only thing I don't believe is that family saw the government officials. I think the aliens hijacked them and forced them to say that.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, man. Well, we're going to move on here. To something I find quite hilarious. You can tell me if you think this is true or not true, babe. But the Daily Mail is reporting that... have you seen this video yet?
I don't think I've seen the video, but I've seen the headline.
Oh, you have? Okay, so tell me, do you think this is true? Do you think this is true?
Hold on.
A liberal TikToker goes viral after complaining that the only masculine and chivalrous men she can find are conservative. So I've met a lot of hot girls lately. They've been complaining about something similar, and I've told them, you should. Come on, I meet lots of people. Babe, Mr. Bon Vivant in Los Angeles. I can't help it. They come up to me. So anyway, I've told them you got to find yourself a good Mormon boy. You know what I'm saying? You got to find yourself a good, solid Mormon boy because there's some of the only masculine guys left. Or you have to go overseas, just like all of us producers in Hollywood have to, because where are all of the attractive men coming from? You just talked about your crush on Antonio Banderas.
Well, not a current crush.
Okay, I didn't say I had a crush on him. Okay. I objectively noted the fact that, these young ladies, they're desperate for masculine men. They can't find them. And where do you got to go? In the United States of America, you might be able to find a good, solid conservative one, except for, a lot of mainstream Christianity is bowing to the priests of Baal and modern cancel culture, and bowing to the gods of pride and capitalism and corporatism and so on and so forth, and it's weakening them. But in Hollywood, they got to go overseas. Like, look at all of the leading men. They're all Australian. They're all New Zealanders. They're all from out of town, shall we say. So Diamond Dave asks, if Brittany kills Cardin, can I take over Midnight Mormons? You know what? If you kill me, who would you prefer to take over Midnight Mormons with? Rex Good?
I'm
Diamond
taking
Dave?
Over Midnight Mormons. Diamond Dave can be my assistant.
Diamond Dave can be your assistant.
Or Rex Good. You guys can rock, paper, scissors.
You guys, or you can have them both. It's like the holy trinity of those who have. But then you're going to have to deal with Kwaku, Diamond Dave. And I don't know if you've got the mental fortitude for such. I don't know if anybody does. So anyway, okay, cool. Awesome. So what would you say to a young lady who's frustrated that she can't find masculine and chivalrous men within the confines of liberalism? What would you say? How would you tell your fellow females to go find masculine and chivalrous men?
I've been out of the dating game a while. I don't know.
Come on, you got game. Stop being humble. You're hot. If you had to go out and replace me, which could never be done, but if you had to find a close second, how would you do it? Would you be like the TikTok girls who are going to Home Depot and Lowe's to fake struggling getting 2x4s on their cars in order to get guys to come up to them? What would you do? What would be your mating strategy?
I'd probably go to the gas station early in the morning because that's where a lot of like the construction, like blue collar workers go to like get the drink in the morning, and I would just like hang out there or go to Home Depot. Yeah.
Really? So that would be your stomping grounds, huh?
Yeah, probably. I got to get my soda fixed too.
Okay. Well, what would your rubric be? Like, how could you tell that they're actually both chivalrous and masculine?
Okay, well, you can't just know that off like one glance.
Okay.
Let's be honest. But chivalrous, I mean, see if they open up the door for me. See if they let me go in front of them in line. See.
Yeah, but you get in trouble for doing that stuff now, though, babe.
I don't
like
think
guys
you
in the
do.
chat. Yeah.
Okay, chat. Okay, if you're a man, have you ever been told by a woman, "Don't open up my door," or "How dare you"?
I can tell you exactly where I was standing.
I don't think it happens.
I can tell you exactly where I was standing when it happened twice within 6 weeks. I got yelled at and screamed at by two, and I stopped doing it from that moment forward.
Do you have receipts?
Yeah, I got receipts.
Show me.
I gotta find them. No, I was standing in front of the Hard Rock Cafe in Studio City, right outside of Universal Studios. I'm going with some of my performance friends, and we're going to go inside, and we're going to have, was it a Planet Hollywood or a Hard Rock Cafe? I'm pretty sure it was Hard Rock Cafe. Can't remember if it's Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock Cafe. But I do remember that I was going in with a group of people, some of them were my performance friends, some of them were from the singles ward. I was still single at that time. And I was right next to work. I worked for NBC Universal at the time. And I remember literally like there was a bunch of people. We have a big bunch of people. Generally what is considered, at least what I was taught, is like, the first guy opens up the door for a group of people and they walk in. But then like, if there's going to be a long chain of people, you offer to,
there's like a limit. You're like, okay, that's enough. I'm closing the door.
Well, you're supposed to take over for him and so on and so forth. All right. So anyway, I actually took over for another gentleman. You know what I'm saying? And at least I'm pretty sure I'd taken over for another gentleman because I was in front. All I remember is that I was standing there and I see the ladies of our group walk by. You know what I'm saying? But then there was some other people. So I thought, okay, cool. Let's hang out for another second, right? Literally just stops. And it's like, what? You're holding the door open for me because I'm a woman? And just like berates me. And I just remember being like, so taken aback that.
Well, she was probably a demon, not like a human.
Oh, you know what? Maybe, but these feminists are letting themselves get possessed way too easily then, because I got to tell you, like, I remember going back to the table and people were like, dude, whoa, what did you do? And I was like, I held the door open for their party. And
are you sure you didn't hold the door open and make like a snarky comment?
No, yeah, no. I used to be nice back then. That was before. That was before the turn. That was before the switch. Okay. And then I'll remember exactly where I was in Salt Lake City. I was in front of the Pie, and I'd gone with a group there to have the infamous The Pie by University of Utah in Salt Lake City. It was my first time going there, and I don't remember all the details other than we parked in this parking lot that was like to the side of it, and then we come around to the front. And it's got all of the trappings of kind of like a dive bar that makes good pizza, okay? And they all go inside. And I just remember that there was other people coming again. And this was like within 6 weeks. Now, there's always some weird psycho. And growing up in LA, dude, everything happens at least once. You don't really think about it too much. But then the second one happened within 6 weeks of the first one. And I just remember saying, that's it, I'm done. And I just remember she had a short bob hair. She was a very mousy girl. Very diminutive, but she had these tight skinny jeans on and a white shirt, and it was like kind of a dressy blouse. And I just remember that she had like half thick, chunky heeled shoes that were patent leather. They're very shiny patent leather. And I remember that she walks and she's walking up, and I keep the door open because there's some people here. You know what I'm saying? And she stops right in front of me. And I remember that she stops and she stamps her feet because I remember I could hear the heels click. It was like she was like clicking them like it's a military parade or something.
Or like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz.
Like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. There was like a click that I remember hearing. And I remember I like looked down and I kind of cased her up really fast. And she says, "You shut that door right now." You know, and I was like, "What?" And then I realized, oh my gosh, we're going through this again, right? And then she made some other snarky comment like, "I can get it myself, thank you," or whatever. But all I remember is going in there and thinking, okay, twice in the same month-ish or 6-month period, I've been utterly screamed at by women I do not know for doing something my mother taught me was basic chivalry. So screw all you ladies, you lost it. You lost the privilege. This is why we can't have nice things. You lose out. You chose feminism. Therefore, you lose out on this. And what do you get? You get that years later. Because this is usually the way it goes.
You're generalizing a whole part of the population based on 2 encounters.
Okay, but be honest. Did I open up the door for you when we dated?
I don't remember.
Not really. I got out of that habit real fast. And I generally teach most men not to now.
That's true. You don't open up doors for me.
Yeah, why? These Karens, these psycho leftist liberals will literally go out of their way to come and scream at you.
Yeah, but
why would I ever put myself at such risk? Because if you don't,
but am I a Karen?
Then you're not at risk.
Am I a Karen?
No, you're a beautiful, tall, and gorgeous person. I will do whatever you ask me to.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, like feminism has a problem. It's bred a monster, and that monster is kind of looks and screams and yells and hollers like this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's as big of an issue as you make it out to see.
I don't know. Dudes in the chat, tell me how many times. Okay, just answer yes or no. Do you feel it is worth it to maintain traditional 1940s, 50s, and 60s standards of chivalry and gender roles in the public sphere where anybody can see you and you run the risk of appearing toxically masculine, getting yelled at, getting hollered at, scoffed at? Just guys in the chat, because this is a guy
like
question.
Leading the witness. You're a little bit just...
No, just guys in the chat, like, back me up if I need to be backed up, or censure me if you think I'm incorrect. You know, Quaker was wrong about the dating versus hanging out. He was censured in real time online. So guys in the chat, let me know. Have you been hollered at for being chivalrous to these ladies? Also, if you have any last questions, make sure you hit us up right now. We only have 11 minutes left. We were so busy talking aliens and feminists, you know, we never got to get around to the whole...
Well, the two go hand in hand.
You know, there. Yeah, so anyway, just let us know. Let me see. Lisa, this is the first question. This is the first response I'm reading right here. Member of the channel. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to become a member of the channel, please consider joining us. It's a fun way of catching up with everything that we do. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet and touch the alert icon, make sure you touch the alert icon. And Jonah Barnes always tells me to remember to do this. And I just, you know, I'm not enough of a shameless plugger yet that I often forget. But like the stream. Please like the stream. Tells the algorithms to keep pumping our stream out there and telling people to join our chat and join our channel and so on and so forth. But anyway, okay, so guys, this is what Lisa says. This happened to my husband recently. Our car battery died, and so he went to the auto shop to get a battery. A girl looking very lesbian. That's funny. How could you tell? No, I'm just kidding. Lisa can say things like this because women can do anything in our modern society and they won't get censured as misogynists because there is a double standard that exists. So this is funny. She said, went to auto shop to get a battery. A girl looking very lesbian was doing the same thing. She got pissed. And when my husband asked, when my husband asked if she needed help, and now I got to go down here and see if I can find the rest of the story. When my husband asked if she needed help. Oh, I lost you there, Lisa.
Oh, cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. You didn't finish the rest of the story in your chat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, while you're looking for that.
Okay.
There's a person in here called Spiritual Gangster. And I think that's cool. Did you know that's a clothing brand? And I had a swimsuit It was so cool, and it said "spiritual gangster" on it.
You
Anyway.
do? I do remember that swimsuit.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, you look good in that one. You go, girl.
Oh, okay.
So, what's that scowl? Is that a feminist scowl, or is that an I'm embarrassed because my
It's an
husband's something
alien
crazy?
scowl. Don't
It's an alien
make
scowl.
me
Okay.
angry.
So anyway, can't dance. How humble of you. Thanks for the super chat. Says, thanks for all the great content, Cardin. After hearing your take on fresh music in the church, I'd send you to Brother Jacob's Jams on all music streaming platforms. Great BOM piano rock album. Dig it. BOM meaning Book of Mormon. Oh, have you ever heard of this Brother Jacob's Jams?
I have not.
Dude, we're going to have to check out Brother Jacob's Jams. In
Awesome.
fact, as part of our rebrand, we might want to see if he wants to do some kind of live unplugged recording for us. We're totally down with that. In fact, there was a local radio station here called Star 98.7, which is now Alternative 98.7. It's gone through several permutations. But they used to have CDs back when CDs were the thing that grew very popular worldwide just from our local radio station in Los Angeles. There was K-Rock and there was Star 98.7 were probably the most popular rock stations. And they would have the artists come in and the artists would play in the radio studio an unplugged version of their song. And they would release an album like once a year from all of the different top 40 celebs that came in and played their music unplugged. And it was crazy. Like Alanis Morissette with just an acoustic guitar singing Ironic, or was it, I don't remember if it was Jagged Little Pill or whatever. But yeah, those are some really cool songs that you can only get locally here. I'm sure somebody's ripped them now and put them up on YouTube after all these years. But yeah, Star 88.7 made its own albums. It was pretty cool. We might do that as part of our rebrand and see if these Jacob's Jams, Brother Jacob's Jams wants to join in. Anyway, Minor Prophet
No,
Ian.
stop. You've skipped like 2 super chats.
Oh, well then hit him. You're the keeper of the chat.
Okay, go up. Mr. Keeps on Ticking.
Okay.
He said, Mormon sympathizer here, like the church, but can't get over the BOA translation. Thoughts? By the way, they dissed Minor Prophet Elon in Elder's Corn Progmo much.
You know, I don't know what he's talking about dissing Minor Prophet Elon in
Elon
Elder's
Musk?
Corn.
They were dissing Elon Musk.
Well, he says Mormon sympathizer here. Huh. I don't know what that means. If he's just a member that's kind of saying something that's funny and tongue-in-cheek, or if he's just an investigator that never got baptized. But either way, sympathizer, that's cool. Thanks for hanging out with us, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. By the way, I love that name. It reminds me of Jackie Robinson. He's like, God built me to last. You know, so this guy, he just keeps on ticking. It's like Mr. Keeps on Ticking. He's like the Energizer Bunny, but just cooler. So anyway, Mormon sympathizer here. Like the church, but can't get over the Book of Abraham translation. Oh, dude, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. All the haters of the Book of Abraham keep trying to make mountains out of molehills, and they're honestly pseudoscientific, okay? They keep on trying to say, like, oh, well, we don't have the scrolls that Joseph Smith was using. We know that it went from, as all of the archaeological record and his own journals and the journals of everybody that saw them in the first place. Geez, I got to figure that out today. My phone keeps going nuts on me. Don't worry about the Book of Abraham, because all of the haters, you know what I'm saying? They try and always say like, oh, well, this wasn't even that. And they set up straw mans. Like the Book of Abraham is the single most straw man thing out there. Okay. And what I found is that we don't have the scrolls to compare them to. And the only time that scrolls could have been actually purchased and possessed by Joseph Smith was that little 8-year period in which there was a fervor in the United States of America over them. And as you start to understand the Book of Abraham and you actually read its doctrine, I actually kind of appreciate the Book of Abraham being such a distinct story, because with the New Testament and the Old Testament, we're always caught up in all of these semantic arguments, in all of these academic and scholarly arguments in which nobody's allowed to believe anybody, because there's always some other academic that has a better interpretation and a translation of what they really meant, okay? But it is fun because we get to approach it from a very naturalistic perspective, but the message is still destroyed. We still need to read the New Testament, not so we can argue over whether or not that was an iota, okay, or whether the eye of a camel was a gate in Jerusalem, or whether it was an actual parable about the size of a needle and a camel, okay? We need to understand the New Testament and the teachings of Jesus on their own merits and get to have our own spiritual connection with that text. Okay, and sometimes the archaeology, as somebody who loves the archaeology of the New Testament, can actually be a distraction from that. With the Book of Mormon, we have some kind of a fun little hybrid in which, okay, it is an ancient record. That's what it claims to be, and, is so on and so forth. And at first we were told, oh, plates don't exist. Archaeologically, they've been found. And then we were told, oh, steel didn't exist. And then archaeologically it's been found. And then, oh, but the coins. And then we realized that was actually just, I think it was McConkie, when he was writing the footnotes, assumed that it was coins, but in reality it was just the payment system. And the Book of Mormon looks better and better and better and better archaeologically over time. But with the Book of Abraham, it was just sheer inspiration, basically, on Joseph Smith's part, how he did it, and the power of God is most manifest in the translation in the translation process of the Book of Abraham, in a way that is wholly unique, that I think had to be unique, so that as the Apostle Paul says, go from the milk to the meat, the Book of Abraham is the most meaty in terms of having to believe it as sheer power of translation from God, and that whatever he received, whatever mummies and papyri and artifacts he had received from the different people that sold it to him, were catalyst objects for inspiration. And so I noticed that kind of like the Lord does something very interesting with each one of the books. And with the Book of Abraham, I find that the most unique and beautiful doctrines that elevate man actually do come from the cosmology of the Book of Abraham. The fact that we have eternal progress comes from the Book of Abraham. The fact that we can become like our Father in heaven, it comes from the Book of Abraham. All of the most beautiful aspects of the church are a consideration of the eternities, the sealing power, so on and so forth, all come from the Book of Abraham. And the truth is, there's some great explanations that I'm not even doing justice to. Like, talk to Stephen Smoot. He's a great, smart, and intelligent guy that talks about how the Book of Abraham had to have been that way. And I wouldn't sleep on the Book of Abraham. So, you can't get over the Book of Abraham translation, dude. You're welcome to ask any kind of question. Send it to us on our website. I'll get Stephen Smoot to answer them for you, along with some other guys that I've met. I can't remember Guy, not Jim Guy, the archaeologist, but Guy wrote a really great book. He was Hugh Nibley's assistant on the Book of Abraham recently, and same with Muhlestein. I know the anti-Mormons hate Muhlestein, but he sent some really profound seminars that I've gone to back when they used to do like Know Your Religion seminars and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. I'm getting the high sign from Brittany. Yeah, hit me. What are the super chats am I missing?
More super chats to get to. Okay. Let's see. Next one was Palace 1 says tithing on income or surplus. Love you guys.
Oh, okay. So, babe, you want to answer that question first? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think you should consult with God.
Okay. Let's just say you are not as enthusiastic about tithing as I am.
I am not.
Yeah. See, I love tithing. Brittany does not love as much the tithe as I do. So this has been
keeping it real here on Midnight Strike Through Mormons.
Yeah, exactly. So what's really interesting is this is a great talk, and I will keep it short.
Oh, geez.
But Palace 1 says tithing or income on surplus. Love you guys. Okay, so first off, we need to define income. What is income? In the scripture, I believe the exact word is increase. And when you go look at the 1830 dictionary, what did increase mean? Because that's not the way we speak nowadays. We don't walk around and say, oh, I will increase you 5. We just don't speak that way.
We might at the horse races.
We might at the horse races. That's true. Maybe at the Preakness.
Yes.
With our big bonnets. But
not a bonnet.
Or whatever that sun
hat.
Whatever your hat is. Okay. So we don't speak using the term increase now. There's 200 years of history there. So let's go back and let's analyze that 200 years of history. Well, increase generally back then meant the surplus after a harvest. And so if we're supposed to pay our tithing, on the surplus after an harvest. Okay, cool. What does that mean? Traditionally in Western America, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as it boomed in the post-war, usually boomed under a wage boom in which people with affordable housing and affordable cars and affordable materials and affordable food received a paycheck that was more than what they needed for their living expenses. So some of these simple percentages were very easy to manage. Okay, one of those simple percentages was save 10% for yourself in savings for retirement. And that was enough to actually get you by. And then, put 10% away for the Lord. And, that's your tithing. Then you want to be able to function off disposable income and discretionary spending of about 20%. While the other 50% goes to your living expenses, to pay your mortgage, to pay your car payment, to pay your student loans. Didn't even exist back then. So under that economic system for 50 years, 2-3 generations of very faithful Latter-day Saints grew up thinking, okay, 10% of my income. Well, we made so much money. Income really wasn't something you had to worry about unless you're a big-time banker who had a little bit more legalistic approach to what is income. But then as the government ballooned, as intervention ballooned, as our economy was financialized, and as everything got a lot more confusing, people had to step back and start thinking, because now houses didn't just maintain their value, they increased. So a lot of people, I always tell them, I say, look, you got to make sure you pay your 10% tithing, and without gaining a legalistic approach to the gospel, you need to go in and figure out what that is, though, because you need to know what your increase is before you can tithe on it. And at the end of the day, if you have expenses, those do need to be taken out of what your income is. And this is not making excuses. And a lot of people get angry when I say that, but I'm like, no. If you have a farm, okay, and you got 100 chickens, but 10 of them are lost in the process, 10 of them you need to feed other animals and maybe even yourself, or your ranch hands and things like that, and there's really only 60 left over or 80 left over. Well, you owe 6 to 8 chickens, not 10 chickens, okay? And then some people bristle at that. They say, oh, no, Cardin, that's false doctrine. Oh, you're being false. I'm like, no, it's not, because here's something that most Mormons always argue about: 10% of your income, 10% of your income.
Net or gross.
Net or gross. There's lots of cute phrases that we had for those 40 or 50 years when life was simpler. Famously, James E. Faust said, well, when people ask me if I should pay on the net or I should pay on the gross, I ask, do you want net or gross blessings? Well, yeah, that's back when there was only a 2% difference between the two. And you had to ask yourself, do you want net or do you want gross blessings? But nowadays, it's absurd out there. Our Congress is literally talking about hitting the 90th percentile for taxation, which if you actually paid on the gross another 10% on top of that, you would be actually paying 102% of money you didn't even make. And here's something that all of the people that say, no, it needs to be on the gross, never ever consider. I live in California. How do I measure my increase? The value of my house during COVID went up $200,000. Do I owe $20,000 each one of those years to the church? By the way, if all of a sudden real estate crashes, like it has in the past, there's been 10, 20, 30% crashes in house values here. I knew people after the economic crash of 2008 that were upside down in their loans for 10 years. In those years when you're upside down on your mortgage and the value of your home is less than the mortgage you're paying for it, do you get to withdraw from the church and God himself? A draft for reverse? Again, no. When you start thinking in these hard and fast ways, you start realizing that you get out of the spirit of the law. The letter is 10% of your increase. So figure out what that is. And sometimes with all the different taxation that we have, with all of the different everything that we have, that might get a little bit dicey. So guess what? You might have to get on your hands and your knees. You might actually have to consult with the Lord and say, look, I've come up with this number. This is what I believe it is. Okay. Do you smile upon this tithe? Do you bless this? I'm going to see if I can find a screenshot when we were having this argument about tithing.
And can I say one
just
thing
a
while
couple
you're
weeks
looking
ago.
for that?
Yes.
I think it's funny too, and people come at us and they're like, no, you're wrong. It's like, okay, then do it your way.
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay, do it your way.
Yeah, exactly. It's
funny.
know,
People get passionate about tithing, so I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can find this or not. There was actually a guy that was really backing me up on. I had to end up taking a screenshot of it. I'm going to be brokenhearted if I don't find it.
And we have more
But
super
yeah,
chats to get to.
Keep hitting the
too.
super chats while I'm looking for this.
Okay. Minor Prophet Ian Malcolm says, yes, that is the Zion thing to do. I think he's referring to
Opening up the doors.
Yes,
Okay,
so
yeah.
he says yes.
Okay.
I agree. Rex Good says, I get away with a lot by being gay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, rock on. Well, he's
Yeah.
probably a funny guy, and funny
Yeah.
guys always get away with everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, okay, keep going.
Let's see. Keith S. says, any thoughts on the new analysis of the Joseph Smith daguerreotype?
Oh, daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Oh,
That's
how do
what
you
I
pronounce?
meant.
How do you pronounce that, babe?
I
That was
like,
hilarious.
Daguerreotype.
Oh,
I don't know if that word is.
Okay, so there has been.
Hold on. Released last year. Looks like it's legit. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay,
so
no, we
Cardi,
did.
Take it away.
No, we did a video on this. Okay, and then there's. I've been seeing the headlines where there's new life has been breathed into the Joseph Smith daguerreotype that we actually did a video on here, in which people are saying, "Oh, it had to be him. It had to be him. It had to be him." I have talked to people that are reputable that I trust that say there's no way it could be for two reasons. Okay, and they're not just doing scoffery, academic scoffery. One of them says, okay, well, Joseph Smith did have virtual photographs taken of him in which people actually would trace the outline of his face before they made a painting. And those outlines, though hand-drawn, compared to the daguerreotypes of other people that the same artist did hand-drawn images of were very accurate and don't seem to reflect the same facial structure as this one. Also, as a collector of many rare artifacts, I've talked to some of these modern artifact collectors, and they said, you know, pictures of people don't go unnoticed. And Joseph Smith was such a large and in charge figure of the American West and Midwest and that time in history that were a photograph of him to exist, even in a small locket form, it would not have gone unknown by the thousands of people that would have come in contact with it as the prominent figures of the movement died and bequeathed it to people and so on and so forth. Like, I mean, we've got like 5 firsthand accounts of whether or not Joseph Smith had a Jupiter talisman or not. The fact that a photo might be floating around of him that we didn't know about seems very dubious. So I'm not convinced of it yet, but we will analyze. It's one of the things I haven't had a chance to analyze this week, but I will analyze it, and I will be open-minded as I approach it. So I will get back to you on that one. Who was the one that asked about it?
Keith S.
Keith S. Okay, cool. Sick. Thank you very much, Keith S. We'll get back to you on this one. I've had people tell me that they think it's a family member, and that family member does not have a lot of photographs of himself, but based upon other descriptions of that family member in journals of people close to the Smith family, they think it might be him. So, Keith S., we owe you one. We owe you one, my man. I'm going to go and I'm going to look up and I'm going to read and I'm going to redevelop a new opinion on this, and we'll get back to you, my man. So, keep her the super chats. Keep going, Brittany.
Okay, Carolyn Wright Gaines the music.
Oh, Carolyn Wright Gaines music.
Sending a super chat. No comment. Just sending a super chat.
Angel from on high. Let me tell you, by the way, audience, tell me if you think this would be too corny or not, because it has to do with Carolyn Wright Gaines music. Okay. You'll notice that I had my bag of the really cool vials of blessed oil from the Temple Mount. From the Mount of Olives. When I went to go direct a series of videos with the Stick of Joseph crew, I was blessed with the opportunity to climb to the top of the Mount of Olives and take video of the sun as it was rising over the Temple Mount. Now, it ended up, unfortunately, being an overcast day, so we didn't get the glamour shot that we wanted. But we were able to, at 5:30 in the morning, go and beat the sun and experience the early morning hours in Jerusalem, right? And I was able to purchase a bunch of little vials that had oil for blessing in there, and it was made with olive wood from, oh, here's one right here. Here's the last one right here. these little vials right here, and this is oil from Israel with olive wood from Israel. And so anybody that has a priesthood in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is familiar with blessings that you can do with the Melchizedek priesthood for the healing of the sick and the afflicted. And so I offered this several live streams ago, in which a couple of our viewers were able to get them. So anyway, I was put in contact with a friend of a friend of a friend that knew Carolyn Wright Gaines music. She is a phenomenal and lovely person who is also a builder. She's hardcore. When I called her, she was tiling. How BA is that? She had a trowel in hand and a musket in the other. No, I'm sorry. She had a trowel in one hand and grout in the other, you know. And she was actually tiling a home that she was developing as part of a development project up there in the state she lived in. And I had a lovely conversation with her. So here's the question, Carolyn Wright Gaines music. I think it would be phenomenal to do a highlight, like an old school 1980s, you know, highlight where once every live stream or we just highlight a member of the channel and say all these cool things about them, what they're like and what their story is like. Because let me tell you, Carolyn Wright Gaines music has a really, really cool story.
This is like Spotlight in primary.
Like Spotlight in primary.
Yeah, that was cool.
So tell me, Carolyn Wright Gaines music, would you be down to be spotlighted or spotlit? I don't know which one is grammatically correct. Would you be down to be spotlighted in one of our upcoming live streams? Because I would actually like to start doing that, because as I have gotten to meet some of these people, like, you know, Richard Stafford, who's come on the show, Jonah Barnes, Carolyn Wright Gaines music, so on and so forth. I thought it'd be really fun to spotlight these people because they have such interesting and incredible lives. People think that Mormons are boring white Western suburbaners in North America. Let me tell you, they are not. They all got something cool going on. And at least the members of this channel do. So I'd like to do a spotlight on you if you'd.
She said yes.
She says yes. Oh, good. You guys we're gonna do a spotlight of one of our channel viewers. It's gonna be totally awesome. So she says, I too struggle with tithing and defining increase as I own my own business. Do you feel tithing is a spiritual thing between you and the Lord? Yes, very much so. And I think the church is really understands this as well, because they used to call it tithing settlement, but now they call it tithing declaration. Now, it's very easy to go down a slippery slope of saying, oh, well, I got to divide all. No, you need to take tithing seriously. And 10% is a number that I think is high enough that it stings and you miss it, so that you're like the original or the original Jews who had to sacrifice the firstlings of their flock and then make do with what was left over. And you sacrificed the firstlings of your flock because you just believed in God and you were going to get rid of it, right? So the purpose of tithing is just to let go of that physical resource, to focus on the spiritual and on God, and to be obedient. So 10% is a great number, because it's not enough that you're going to be some psychopath that's just, you know, burning all of his flock in his fields, okay, for a false idol that's not listening and isn't there, okay? So it's enough that it stings, but it's enough that you can, you know, get by with what you have and still have a life of abundance as God wants you to have. So
okay, moving on, because we're already past the time.
Yeah, we are. Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks for keeping me on schedule.
Dean Schwenk.
Dean Schwenk. I like that. Okay.
$2 super chat. Thank you.
Rock on.
Next one. Mitchell Clark. Would you appear on Mormon Stories if you had the opportunity? Have you invited John Dehlin on the show? Love you guys.
Yes.
Who are you saying you love? Me and Cardin, or Cardin and John?
Oh, that's a good question. He loves us. He loves us. So anyway, Mitchell Clark, thank you very much for the super chat. Would I appear on Mormon Stories if you had the opportunity? Yes. However, I'll tell you this much right now. John Dehlin is a genius. That dialogue has been suggested ad nauseum. We've told him to come on our show anytime, anywhere. We'd pay for his hotel. We'd pay for his plane flight ticket out here. And we will gladly argue over whatever issue and fight that good fight. But no, he won't. Why? Because it's not part of his business model. And what he's doing is indeed a business. He's an ideologically motivated anti-Mormon who does not want to do anything that would make the Mormon church look good. And he's very, very aware that we field these false cry bully arguments against us personally and the church at large far better than most of the other people don't. Jim Bennett, bless his soul, he'll go on there and out of his desire to be diplomatic, he'll oftentimes cede far too much ground and agree with premises that are false. in order to try and get along. And I don't think that's a weakness. I think he's a wonderfully diplomatic and political individual. But anti-Mormons prefer someone like that. They prefer somebody that's going to go in and grant false premises so they can redirect and change the subject away from the thing that they might have wanted to talk to. Leo Winiger has been invited on a show, and then the second he found out that he disagreed with John DeLynn on something, he was disinvited. We've had a standing challenge to converse and discuss in a public forum any of these issues with John DeLynn, but he won't come. He's been invited, but he won't come. And so I've interacted with him directly myself with DMs on Twitter, in which he was invited and so on and so forth, but then just shut down the conversation. So, and you have to remember, that's rule number, I think it's rule number 9 of anti-Mormonism, is they will not engage. Those that are always willing to, one of the ways I can usually generally tell if somebody is for or against the church at large is whether or not they're willing to engage. Because if they're telling the truth, they need not fear, and they usually are not fearful, because they know the truth is on their side. Though there's some short-term things that might make the church look goofy, when allowed to explain the larger picture, the morality is always exposed and you don't look stupid. But the anti-Mormons know that as well, so they don't want to give you the opportunity to explain yourself, and so they avoid anybody that really can. And that was the premise of Elon Musk when he was talking with the Babylon Bee, talking about why the left cannot meme. The reason why John DeLynn doesn't come up with funny content or cultural content is because evil does not build, it only tears down. And anti-Mormonism does not construct, it only destructs. We construct temples, they destroy testimonies. We construct families, they home wreck families for profit. And so if we want to have a constructive conversation, yeah, we want to have that. They don't. So anyway, have we invited them? Yes, we've invited them, but it probably won't happen because we understand the nature of the enemy. And the enemy is dishonest.
And honestly, who cares?
That's true. That's true. It's Korobor. He's kind of passe anyway. It's kind of Korobor. So, anyway, is that another one from Carolyn Wright King's music?
No.
Is that 2 in 1 day? Okay, that's
no,
what I
just
Carolyn. It's like, whew, just overwhelming me here. So anyway, okay.
We're good.
Yeah, so 123M Neil says it's funny how both sides keep the quote, I will talk to them, but they won't talk to me card. Yeah, but see, the difference is that we have the proof. I have proof. I have the screenshots of the DMs, and I've posted them in public, in video, and he has not. So 123M Neil, I know you're I know you're against the church if we were to put you in a binary. And I know that a lot of good people want to do the both sidesism and say like, well, I'm not part of this argument, but it's kind of funny how both sides. No, there's no both sidesism here. He lies, we don't. I've invited him to argue some of these accusations he's made against me personally, my friends personally, the church publicly and at large, and he won't. So if he says that he's invited us to come on, then he's lying. If Bill Reel says that, which I know he did in that Does Not Exposed video a couple of weeks ago that we talked about recently in a standalone video, he's lying. And these people are liars. Generally, when you go atheist, you lose your attachment to the morality of honesty, and lying gets easier. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but your boy is a liar. And there's no both sidesism here, at least on that sentence. And we've got the receipts. So, yeah. Anyway, Malcolm. Minor Prophet Ian Malcolm says, BT Dubs, we need a Britney/Cardin origin story show. Ooh. Should we tell him the details, babe?
Well, you spelled my name wrong, so no. I'm kidding.
That's savage, man. That's absolutely savage. Okay. So anyway, yeah, any last questions here? We got a couple of
What, you don't want to say how we met? Are you too embarrassed?
Oh, no. Well, it was going to be, he asked for an entire show, but we can just say it right now. Actually, that'll be our outro. That'll be our outro. If you guys have any last questions, any last burning issues you want to get out of your system, then by all means, send them right now in a super chat really fast. We'll read them on air. That's what we always do with super chats. But yeah, what's the origin story, babe? You came to church to see someone else. Yeah. So do you want to tell the story or do you want me to tell the story?
It wasn't church. It was a Christmas concert at the church.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Los Angeles is we have a lot of entertainment industry professionals here. One of the entertainment industry professionals that we enjoy in Southern California is named Richard Rich, and he's the guy that made all of the Living Scriptures animated videos. He was also a prominent Disney producer and director for 30 or 40 years. He did The Fox and the Hound. He did the original Robin Hood story that has Robin Hood and Little John walking through
You're
the
missing the most
forest.
important one.
The
Swan Princess.
Yeah, he did the Swan Princess, and I played basketball with, I believe, his youngest son. And
Okay, wait, hold on. I saw a comment from Rex. He says, please outro right now.
Please outro right now. Savage. So anyway.
He's my fellow. We like to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and it's pushing that.
Oh, that's funny right there. So anyway, he, being very musically talented, puts on a giant free Christmas orchestra. We're talking a full 50-piece orchestra with a mini tabernacle choir from all 23 congregations in 2 different valleys. It is absolutely impressive. It's a giant regional event that fills the stake center that they do it in all the way to capacity, and you have local dignitaries showing up and so on and so forth. And for a decade, it was a Christmas staple of all the members in a 30 or 40 mile radius of my stake in Southern California. And I went there to go participate in the services and see the beautiful music. So did Brittany the Shadow, except for she went there to go meet his hunky second youngest son. Was it who you were chasing after
order.
Somebody, right?
I don't know the order, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then, so you got the Costco Kirkland signature version of the guy that you're going to church to see. Is that what you're saying, babe?
No.
Or
not.
are you saying you upgraded when I saw the hot supermodel and decided I'd go up and talk to her?
I don't think I demoted or upgraded. I just made a solid lateral move.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, babe. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? Savage, disrespected on air. Brutal, man.
I got to keep you humble. Someone does.
Yeah. So anyway, we actually met at a Christmas concert, and I would like to say that we hit it off right off the bat. Wouldn't you say so, babe?
Yeah. So what happened was I didn't find the guy I was looking for, but Cardin, it was after the concert. We just kind of we were in the same aisle, so we kind of just met up with each other, and I can't remember what you said to me, but you just started talking.
I had J.J. Abrams' app. I was making a stir because a lot of people were looking over my shoulder because J.J. Abrams had made
you were blowing up people.
Yeah, he made a bad robot app where you could take pictures of people running or video of somebody running and then shutting the door behind them. It would look like a car came down and exploded behind him. And so I was taking a bunch of people and friends. And I said, dude, run over there. Dude, run over here. And making these cool videos. And a bunch of the local bishops and a bunch of the local youth leaders and a lot of the young people around me were like, oh, this guy's cool. Look at what he's doing. And being the center of attention, you wanted to come over and see what's going on too, and then you were hot, so I started talking to you.
No, I didn't come. You kind of just came up to me and just started talking about this app, and I was just like, "What?"
Well, yeah,
okay,
because your sister was one of the looky-loos, and you were hot, so I roped you into the conversation like a talented socialite.
Okay, anyway, so we started talking over this app that's blowing up people in the congregation, and then he was just like, "I don't know you. Who are you?" And I introduced myself, and then I was like, but I'm leaving. I'm going back up to BYU, Idaho. I have one more semester, and then I'm graduating. And then he was like, oh, what do you like to do? And I was like, actually, I'm a dancer. And he was like, oh, well, I'm shooting a music video. Can I get your number in case I need any dancers?
Yeah, that's true.
He was smooth that way. So I gave him my number. I said, yeah, let me know if I can be in a music video.
And you were, but it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
That one was weird. That was like a goth rock music video too.
Yeah.
But anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so then I went up to Idaho, and then I texted him. I was going through a hard time and texted him out of the blue. And then ever since that day, we just talked on the phone every single day. Then I graduated. I drove down, had our first date.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Hot kids, hot wife, cool family.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's our origin
Power
story.
couple. So, anyway, that's the origin story. Angel Puff Starfish, thank you very much for becoming a member of our channel. You know what I'm saying? All right, so just some housekeeping here before we get out of here. If you haven't had a chance or you just joined us, please make sure that you like the stream. I can see that not everybody has liked the stream yet, but thanks for hanging out with us and spending this time with us. Keep going. Looks like all the boycotts are working. We've been looking at all the data. It's crazy. All you ladies, we understand that you're skipping Target for a little bit while. You got to send a message. I know all you guys have been skipping your Bud Light in third hour. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Scroll back up for a little bit.
Okay,
I saw some. Scroll. No,
too much?
Okay, no, right there. Scott, does that say Scott Mitz? He said, I beg to differ. You found the guy you were looking for. You just thought you wanted a different guy.
See, Aww. He knows what's up.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Boom, shakalaka. That's all we can say here. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. My name is Cardin. I've been your host today if you're just joining us for the first time. This is Brittany the Shadow. The name of the show is Midnight Strike Through Mormons. Hope you guys had fun with this. It's been